Welcome to Sib Spot. Today's featured Reddit stories are from Entitled People. Story 1 today is by King of the Diamond. Entitled lady leaves her cart. With a New Year's hangover and nothing to do, I decided to head to Target to pick up a few things. After making my purchases, I leave to return to my car. As I walked through the parking lot, I noticed someone had left a shopping cart directly behind my car. The car that was parked next to me was in the process of pulling out. I'm thinking it was definitely them. So as I'm almost at my car, the lady sees me and hesitates for a second. Maybe to consider moving the cart. However, just at that moment, a gust of wind blew by and the cart starts taking off, making a beeline for the cart on the other side. The cart then proceeds to slam into the side of the other person's car. She looks at me a bit scared, thinking it was my car that just got dented, but as soon as I unlocked my car, she realized it wasn't mine that she hit. She peels out of the parking lot without a second thought. She left too fast for me to grab the plate number. That poor car now has a dent because of that entitled POS. I'm not so sure that you hit the nail on the head about this person being the cause of the cart. You said a gust of wind came and pushed the cart and made it run into another car. Who's to say that that didn't happen with yours as well? Who's to say that wind didn't move it into your vehicle? There is no evidence in this one that she is at fault, except that she kind of eyeballed you. But I think maybe she was thinking of getting out of her car to try to move it for you. Maybe that's why she was watching you so much. Then again, I don't entirely understand why she peels out of the parking lot without a second thought. That's the only thing in this that makes this a little sus to me. Even if there's an ice storm happening, I return my cart. I'm one of those people. There's a video that circulated on the internet of this other woman who had a cart out in like a terrible, like hurricane weather kind of storm. And she was taking her cart back, come heck or high water. Nothing was stopping that woman. It was pretty epic. Like her hair was going everywhere. She was nearly being blown over. She had to wrestle her cart to get it to the corral, but she made it. And it was epic. And then there's people who, even on the nicest day, won't even go 5 feet to turn their cart in. They're just like, somebody's paid to do this. It's fine. Yes, they're paid to do that. But they're paid to take the carts back. And if everybody just brought them back to the corral, they wouldn't have to go around and gather 20 or 30 carts from lazy people. I don't know about you guys, but while I'm at work, I greatly appreciate it if somebody does something small to make my job easier. And it really doesn't take much time. Our next story is by Murky Translator 2295. The time my sister got a job in a bookshop. My sister had to leave my country because crime. She was a manager in a certain industry here, but couldn't get a job in the same industry when she was living in another country because she couldn't get a good industry reference, because crime. All clear? Good. My sister loves to read, so she applied for a job in a bookshop, aced the interview, and was hired. She shows up Monday morning, meets her new manager, and gets shown around / the job. Her new manager is a young woman of around 24. She's worked in the shop since she was 16 when she was part-time. She kept working there and was promoted to manager, as is or should be the natural progression of a job. My sister was 32 and had been told growing up that because she was the oldest of us kids, she was in charge or more important. It was really due to the fact that she was an effing sociopath and acted effing horrible if she wasn't treated like the only person in the world. But she was always told her prominence was because she was the eldest. So she automatically believed that if she was older than you, she was automatically better than you. So in her head, she's older than the manager, so therefore she should be in charge. On the third day she worked there, the manager approached my sister and told her that the current part-time worker was turning 18 on Saturday. However, he was going out to dinner with his family on Saturday before meeting his friends in the pub and heading on to a nightclub. Therefore, the shop was bringing him out for drinks on the Friday night after work. My sister was more than welcome to go. In fact, she really should go, and it would be great team bonding. She can meet everyone, and they can meet her, and they can all be friends. My sister said no, sorry, but she already had plans. It was a bit short notice. But sorry, she'll definitely go out next time. My sister sat at home drinking vodka that night. At some point, a plan formed. Drunk off her butt, and dumb as she is, she put her plan into action. In her head, as the eldest, she can F up her manager's life and get her fired. Then she, my sister, will automatically be made manager. Because she's the eldest. And she was once a manager in her own country in a completely different industry. She has no experience in Bookshop, but clearly, as the eldest, she deserves to be the manager. She called the police and reported her manager for buying alcohol for a minor. The drinking age in her new country was 18. The police showed up at 11:30 on the Friday night, a half hour before he turned 18. There was nothing anyone could do. The minor was kicked out of the pub for being underage, and nothing else happened to anyone else because it was clear the report was vindictive. The police gave the manager my sister's name, and told her my sister was the one who reported her. My sister was shocked when she showed up on the Monday morning and was fired on the spot. That is insane. And I gotta admit that I have mixed feelings on this. I don't think it was a fantastic idea for her to take him out for drinks before he turned 18. And it was especially not bright on her part to tell somebody she barely knew who was a new hire that she should come out and do this thing that is a little bit illegal. Honestly, though, we as a society set these age points to be the cutoff. You cannot do this unless you turn to this age. And the funny thing is, in the US, you can literally go to war and die for your country, but you can't have a drink of alcohol. The ages don't line up. And what a joke of a system, honestly. Our next story is by Ditch Grass Roadkill. What does New Year's have to do with you getting to cut the line? Went to the Provincial service office because my license plate is peeling. There was a lineup about 20 people long. It moves pretty quickly on most days. This entitled woman walks in, leans against the rope, and demands to have multiple questions answered about getting a birth certificate. The agent at the desk stops serving people to answer her questions. She then leaves, turns around in the entryway, and realizes she didn't get her parking validated. She comes back in and proceeds to the rope again. I'm having a bit of a day because of my mother's cancer treatments, and I'm feeling tired of entitled people. I spoke up and said in a gentle voice, I think you'll have to wait in line like everyone else. She replied that she's on a time crunch and just had a question. I said, yes, this is the reception line. We all have a quick question. You have to wait. She then said repeatedly, well, Happy New Year. Well, Happy New Year. So I feel a little bad for speaking up, but I'm just so tired of these people talking about the younger generations being entitled and then pulling crap like this. Nobody likes to sit and wait in any line. This is the Provincial Service Office. In the US, it's the DMV, and those lines are horrible. Sometimes they take 2 hours for you to get through, but you need to make the time and you need to come in. And if you have a question like this, it is more than likely that it can be answered by Googling it. This is just a woman that had main character syndrome. It's all about me. I don't care about you guys. Our last story today is by Autistic Farm Girl. Entitled passenger almost gets denied boarding on a plane. I love these kind of stories. On the 30th December, I found myself on a Ryanair flight to the UK from a European country. We were the last flight of the day departing from that airport and also nearly 1 hour late. At the gate, we had 2 agents and a supervisor. For those who don't know, Ryanair is a low-cost airline where the basic price gets you a seat and a small bag that needs to fit under the seat in front of you. Anything else costs extra, including priority boarding. You get a second bag and board before everyone else so you can use the overhead lockers. And the rules get enforced fairly strictly. So they run 2 queues, a priority one and a normal one, which tends to be packed before the gate even opens for folks who need extra storage space. I travel light and tend to only board at the very end, so I was able to witness the drama. Our entitled passenger was in the priority queue with her boyfriend and his mom. They arrived at the gate, boyfriend and mom scan through, EP's ticket gets rejected. Turns out she hasn't booked priority and chanced she'd be let through with her partner. The agent tells her that he can't let her through and she needs to go to the normal queue. She starts arguing with him. The supervisor steps in, says the same, and after some back and forth, EP goes and stands at the front of the normal queue. The supervisor tells her that she can't cut the queue and needs to go to the back of the normal queue. She argues some more with the supervisor, who stands her ground, and EP eventually storms off to the back. Most people would call it a lesson and just move on. Not EP. She's, I think they meant to say raging. They wrote ragging. Maybe they did mean ragging. It has hidden meanings too. She's raging. She eventually gets back to the gate. Her boyfriend is very kind and waiting for her just after the gate, and decides that she needs to tell the gate agent how unfair this all is and how entitled she was to go to priority and or cut the queue. So she does, raises her voice at the guy scanning her boarding pass and all. Supervisor steps in immediately, takes her aside, and tries to have a conversation with her. EP is having none of it. Voice is still raised, and she's arguing her case. Her boyfriend has come back and is trying to calm her down and make her stop so they can get on the plane. Now all the passengers who haven't boarded yet are watching. The supervisor calmly walks EP to the side of the gate, gets her to step out of the barrier, and tells her she's not allowed on board the plane. It takes her a second to realize what happened, and then she starts screaming. But suddenly she's sorry. She's now claiming that it's a misunderstanding, she doesn't speak English very well, that she didn't mean it, that she's very sorry and will calm down if she's allowed on board, and basically repeats that over and over again. Her boyfriend is still trying to get her to calm down. She won't stop screaming at the supervisor. Supervisor kind of gives in and tells EP that when boarding is complete, she will phone the captain, discuss with him, and see if he'll allow EP on board. That should calm her down. It doesn't. She's still yelling, begging, and pleading. I'm now on the tarmac, waiting to get on the plane, and with maybe 15 other passengers, we're all looking back to see if EP and boyfriend will appear through the doors. We're invested. We board the slowest we've ever boarded just to make sure we see what happens next. Will the captain give her a chance the day before New Year's and let her board? Will he tell her to get lost? She appears. She made it. Except she's now arguing with her boyfriend about it. She still thinks she's in the right. He's still trying to make her stop and calm down. He looks like he's used to her crap and yet tired of it. She gets past my seat, still arguing with him. He's seating next to his mom. EP is elsewhere. You have to pay extra to seat together. Boyfriend and mom are in the row in front of my husband. When he sits down, he tells his mom she just wouldn't drop it. She nearly didn't get on the plane, and she still wouldn't drop it. Holy crap. This woman right here might be the queen of entitled people that I've read so far. They're letting you get on the plane. You do not have to then complain about it. Like, let it go. Just get on the plane. Have your flight. You're going. Maybe she was intoxicated, though. That typically gets people removed from aircraft right away. Most airlines, if they find that you're intoxicated, will remove you. Because, unfortunately, a lot of people react in very violent, loud ways when they're intoxicated. And nobody wants to deal with it or be around that. But they said nothing of her being intoxicated, just entitled. She couldn't board with them because she bought a different ticket for the other line. Get in the other line. Like, why even scream at people and say, I need to be with them, I need to board with them, I have to board with them. This is unfair, this is crazy. You're all going on the plane. Get in the other line. They're not going to remove you if you're just polite and you shut up. Why make everyone's life worse and embarrass yourself doing this? Our stories for today have come to a close. Until we meet again, have a mesmerizing day.